Another day of record-breaking heat, but storms tomorrow are why we're issuing a WRAL weather alert day. I'm timing out the arrival of showers tomorrow and the big temperature drop throughout the day.
And with this warm, dry weather, we're seeing an increase in the risk for brush fires. Sky 5 flew over 2 of them in Wake County just today. What we've learned from fire officials in the last half hour.
A UNC grad back from space. Zena Cardman is back on Earth. Let's see how she's holding up.
All right, thanks for being here at 7 o'clock. A lot to talk about, a lot of news going on. We got a WRAL weather alert day tomorrow. You're not going to believe how cold it's going to get. A pair of brush fires popping up in Wake County. And we interview Zena Cardman, the UNC grad and NASA astronaut who just got back from space. This is the newscast that wants to hear from you. Email 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. Send us your questions, your comments, your feedback, your critiques. We may read a few of them coming up at the end of the show. We got to start with meteorologist Mike Bays, though, in the Severe Weather Center. We have some rain coming, some cold, maybe even some severe weather.
Yeah, and we had 90 degrees in many locations today, so quite a change coming up tomorrow. And we've issued a WRAL weather alert day for many reasons. One, a level 1 risk for severe weather tomorrow. Damaging winds can't be ruled out. Another is, outside of any severe storms, it's going to be very windy tomorrow. Winds gusting 30 to 35 miles per hour, could push some trees around, could hit a power line. Your power could go out, so keep that in mind. There's the outline for the risk. Raleigh, Fayetteville, Wilmington, down east toward the Outer Banks. Damaging wind gusts in an isolated severe storm, so we don't think that's going to be widespread. And here are the probabilities for rain. By 10 a.m., it's 50% chance. By lunchtime, 80% chance. 1 and 2 o'clock, about a 90% chance. But I think the window for any thunderstorms as of right now would roughly be from 10 a.m. through about 1 o'clock. And then tomorrow evening, this should all be gone. Reason why we issued the WRAL weather alert day, the huge temperature drop, the wind, the rain. It's all going to make for a messy day tomorrow, especially peaking around lunchtime. 66 at 8 a.m. By lunchtime, we're at 53, and then tomorrow afternoon, we're in the 40s. So it's a big change, Dan, coming up from what we had during the day today.
Certainly. Thank you, Mike. Let's talk about these brush fires. You got firefighters responding to 2 of them, 2 different brush fires in our area. You got one in Zebulon, that's on the left side of your screen, the other in Wendell on the right side of your screen. The flames were not far from some homes in those areas, too, causing a bit of a scare. Brian Schrader keeping an eye on this from the WRAL Live Center. Still no word what caused these, Brian.
They're still investigating the cause, but certainly a spectacular fire that you saw there from Sky 5 over on the eastern side of Wake County in Zebulon on Rosenberg Road, which is just off of US 64. I want to show you some more of that video. Sky 5 was in the air and spotted that fire from quite a distance, and as they got closer, they could see just how intensely that fire was burning. Zebulon fire officials say that Wake County deputies, were the ones who reported that fire, and apparently an abandoned home burned in the middle of those woods there. No reports of any injuries in that fire. Sky 5 was already covering this fire on Willard Woods Drive in the south part of Wendell, and you can see where that fire burned between those 2 homes. Very close to those houses, but from here it doesn't look like those houses were damaged. And again, thankfully, no reports of any injuries, but with this dry weather, a lot of concern about these fires getting out of control.
Yeah, you said it. Thank you, Brian. Let's move to another story. This is also happening right now at 7. Sky 5 doing some more work here over the scene of a shooting. It's on East Main Street in Durham. We know one man went to the hospital. WRAL's Willie Danley covering this one for us tonight. He's live in Durham, and the sheriff's office telling us, Willie, they think this might have been a drive-by.
Yes, Dan. People who live in this neighborhood tell me this was quite the traumatic experience. It all happened right here on East Main Street, just a couple of yards away from Durham Police Headquarters here in downtown Durham. I do want to take you to some video that the WRAL breaking news tracker captured here at the scene. According to Durham Police, a young man was outside on this street when he was shot by a car that was driving by. Right now, all we know is that his injuries are considered to be life-threatening. We have reached out to Durham Police to find out more information. They also haven't given us any information about any potential suspects or persons of interest in this shooting. We did speak to people who were outside when those shots rang out, and they told us it was extremely scary. They actually had to hit the ground seeking cover after those shots rang out. We have talked to multiple people in this community, and they tell us that they want changes. They say that this is actually the second shooting to take place on this street within this month of March alone. We're going to continue to follow this story and keep you up to date with the latest information. Willie Danley, WRAL News, live in Durham.
All right, Willie, thank you. A busy start to the show, but we got more to talk about. These are the headlines from today, the 5 things you should know right now. Today, the Triangle community honored Trooper Stephen Perry. His funeral was at the Shepherd's Church in Cary, followed by a procession to the gravesite in Durham. Hundreds gathered to show their respect. Trooper Perry was killed in the line of duty, hit by a wrong-way driver on the Durham freeway. He died last Sunday. A private burial service was held for family and close friends immediately after today's service. A Raleigh police officer had to be treated for drug exposure after a traffic stop Tuesday night. 46-year-old Darushi Jones faces 8 charges after, listen to this, police say he threw drugs from his window at the officer. Jones says it was ashes from a cigarette. Court documents say it was cocaine. Jones is being held on no bond and will be back in court in early April. The town of Apex is looking at blocking some future data centers for at least a year. The developer who wanted to put one in just pulled out of that project. Now the town council there is voting on a 1-year moratorium on the idea. Chatham County did something similar earlier this year. We've been talking a lot about data centers here at 7 o'clock. We are less than a month away from when Dreamville would have usually happened in Raleigh. Details have been kind of scarce since organizers announced a new festival that would take over. Documents obtained by WRAL do not necessarily show an obligation to hold a festival there. The city says they are trying to work out new dates with festival organizers. We'll stay on that one for you. NCDOT finished building a concrete plant that will help speed up the rebuilding of I-40 right at the Tennessee state line there. Drone video here showing what it looks like. Only one lane is open right now in each direction on I-40 with a reduced speed limit. The interstate isn't expected to fully reopen there for another 2 years. You ever wonder what it's like to go to space? Ever wonder what it's like to come back to space and be back on Earth? It takes a toll. Just one of many of the things that we got to talk about with UNC grad and NASA astronaut Zena Cardman. I also asked her about the medical emergency that cut her space mission short. And we're going to have that interview for you right after the break. Also, stick around for our one last thing tonight. Lots of you emailed about bees and wasps buzzing around now that the weather is getting a bit warmer. And we're going to answer some of your questions. Oh man, this was great. Today we got to do something really cool. We got to interview an astronaut who graduated from UNC, Zena Cardman. She's a Tar Heel. She got back from her mission on the International Space Station. Before we get to that though, I want to give you a little peek behind the curtain here at WRAL as we set this stuff up, because right as we were trying to start this interview, we had some issues with the Zoom call. Can you hear us? Ask if they can hear us, because I feel like they can't hear us.
Can you guys hear us now?
I can hear you, but I feel like you can't hear me. Are we muted? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm clear. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. I literally was sitting here thinking that the technical issue was on NASA's side. Look, stop. I mean, you know, you have I have confidence in my coworkers. So what? My first thought was, I guess NASA can't figure out Zoom. But it was us. We were the problem. Who among us hasn't forgot to unclick the mute button? Give me a break. Anyway, once we got things working, after that little icebreaker there, we had a great conversation. So you just got back from the ISS a little more than 2 months ago. You were in space for about 6 months. And I'm curious, what surprised you most with coming home?
Oh, gosh. It was, I think, overall an easier transition than I expected it to be. But I miss being on the International Space Station every day. Living and working in that orbiting laboratory was just a dream come true.
So tell me what you missed. Tell us about the mission, what kind of a typical day, if there is a typical day, looks like in space for you.
There's not exactly a typical day. Every day is different, which is one of the things I love most about working there. You might be 1 hour doing some mechanical repair and the next hour working on a scientific payload or doing biological research. A lot of what we worked on was research on the human body. We also do materials science, physics research, all kinds of different science. So I really miss being part of that incredible collaborative international laboratory research. and just the fun aspects of being weightless and floating around all day.
We do have to ask about this because your mission was supposed to be a bit longer. You and members of your crew came back early because of a medical emergency, the first ever medical evacuation from the ISS. What can you tell us about what happened and about what that moment was like for the crew?
Yeah, the most important thing is that we were able to prioritize safety of the crew member while also balancing that with risks to our spacecraft and risks to the overall mission of the International Space Station. So it took a lot of teamwork and a lot of people on the ground who are experts in their fields, getting us ready to come home. We are not going to share exactly the details of the medical emergency. Mike Fink, my crewmate, has identified himself online as the affected individual, but it really took a whole team to get us back down home safely. And we were able to do that on a timeline that was more like a couple of days or a week rather than needing to get off of the space station immediately.
And I imagine there is training that goes into that because you have to be ready for pretty much anything when you are orbiting the Earth.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, one of the most important aspects of flying to space is being ready for the unexpected. And so we do all kinds of training for both expected situations, of course, but then also these unforeseen risks that might be out there so that if something happens, it's not the first time you've thought through the operations or the CONOPS.
So what is next for you now? Will you be going back to space anytime soon?
I sure hope so. I'll go back as soon as they let me. But for me, the first 45 days or so, once you get back to Earth, is really focused on medical data collection and rehabilitation. So a lot of working in the gym, getting back into good physical condition. It's really difficult adjusting back to this 1G environment here. But now I've got a little bit more time on my hands, and I'll be kind of transitioning into a phase where I get a technical assignment with the astronaut office before I'm ready to fly into space again.
So is your body very weak when you get back into this type of gravity? And do you notice that when you start to work out again or try and get back in shape?
We have really excellent exercise equipment on board the International Space Station, and that does a great job of maintaining the big muscle groups. So your really big drive trains, we can do squats, bench, deadlift using something with hydraulic resistance rather than plates of weight. And so you have really good strength. You maintain most of your muscle mass, your bone density actually does really well overall over many months. But it's those small stabilizer muscles that we really have a hard time maintaining while we're on orbit. And so for me and for most people, when you get back down, you're pretty wobbly. A lot of your vestibular system, so things that take care of balance, are a little bit off. It's funny for the first 24 hours or so when you're back.
You know, I find it interesting. You are one of a few astronauts with ties to our area. We have Christina Cook, of course, from NC State, selected for Artemis II. Kate Rubins from Duke, who performed 2 spacewalks. And those are really just a few of the latest names in a pretty large group. I'm wondering, what do you think it is about this area that makes people want to leave Earth?
I think anywhere that you have ties to actually makes you want to do something for the Earth. And everything that we do on board the International Space Station really is focused on the people back home, whether that's research or just inspiration and working collaboratively with people from other states and other countries all over the world. For me, I felt so grateful as a student in North Carolina that I had the chance to do research in very far-flung remote locations. So I spent a lot of time leaving campus so that I could come bring that expertise back to campus.
I appreciate you, the work you do, and your time with us today.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
Such an impressive woman, such an inspiration. I talk to my kids about some of these astronauts who are from this area, and I see their eyes light up when I say that, you know, these people studied right here in our backyard.
You know, could be astronauts.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
You want them to leave Earth?
No, I don't know. You said something a bit ago that I found really interesting, and that's the fact that with this weather, there are no leaves on the trees. It's kind of bizarre.
So imagine having 90 degrees and you look at the trees and there are no leaves on them. I mean, it felt like the end of June today.
It did.
Yeah, and then tomorrow, one of our models suggests wet snowflakes up there, up in Lake Gaston. I'm not buying that, but if it happens, I'll definitely eat crow and trust that model emphatically. But a beautiful end of the day over Lake Gaston. There have been a lot of boats coming and going, jet skis. The water's probably still just a little bit too cool for my taste. Up to 90 in Fayetteville, Smithfield, Wilson, Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, Pope Air Force Base, Rocky Mount. Very warm day. This time tomorrow, we are going to be in the 40s. 82 right now at RDU. We've got clouds rolling on in. It will be mostly cloudy tonight. Gibson Play Plaza, quiet, but it is a pleasant evening to be outside with all the 80s still showing up. And I think even by the time we're on the air at 11 o'clock, it'll be in the mid 70s at that point, and it will stay warm through the night. There is our weather maker, our game changer, our weather changer prior to its arrival. Record warmth today, 89, the record high at RDU, 90, the record high in Fayetteville. Tomorrow, we will not have a record high. This is Futurecast, and I'll show you how it all takes place. So at midnight, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies. Everybody in the 70s. It'll be breezy throughout the night, a southwest wind, 10, 15 miles per hour. It'll be dry throughout the night. Now, if you happen to leave the house at around 5 in the morning for your commute, you're thinking, I don't need a jacket. Well, grab one, because if you're not getting home till 3, 4, 5 o'clock, it is going to be cold. You'll definitely need rain gear, too. It's going to be a very wet day, 90, maybe even 100% chance for rain at one point. By 10 a.m., the front's going through. It has already moved through Roxborough and South Hill. Temperatures dipping, still warm in Clinton and Goldsboro, waiting for the arrival of the front, but it passes, showing rain. Now, this is our in-house Futurecast model, and the blue is indicating wet snowflakes. Now, the numbers aren't mirroring what the model is showing, because I just thought it was way too cold, because it was showing 30s all throughout our northern counties in the afternoon, and at one point here in Raleigh, upper 30s. Not sure I buy that, but I do buy the cool down. 53 in Raleigh at noon, 63 Fayetteville, 45 at Roxborough, and look at all the blue that shows up. Now, if perchance that does happen, it's not going to accumulate. It's just too warm. It's just going to melt on contact. 43 at Durham at 2 o'clock, 47 in Raleigh. By the time we get to 4 o'clock, in the 40s. The winds will be strongest in the morning, gusting 30 to 35. In the afternoon, it's 10 to 15 mile per hour winds, and the rain moves on out. This time tomorrow, we're looking at 40s, and by Friday morning, we're going to have temperatures in the 30s. Rainfall potential looking pretty good out of the system. All the models agree a pretty good soaking. WRAL weather alert day tomorrow. That 74 is our high around midnight. Then the temperatures crash in the afternoon. 62 and windy for your Friday. 70 on Saturday. A bit of rain on Sunday. The next decent cold front comes on Monday. It's windy again. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, Dan, we're back to winter. The high only 49 on Tuesday. That's the normal high in January.
From shorts to winter coats. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Mike. A lot of you seem to want to know about wasps and bees. Yeah, we got a lot of emails asking about them. We even got an email with some answers. So let's get to a segment tonight about wasps. Your one last thing is after the break. For the one last thing tonight, I want to answer a few questions that we got about wasps and bees last night. That's right. It's kind of a segment within a segment tonight. We're allowed to do that. We make the rules. The one last thing is also a good question, and it's about wasps. A viewer named Vicky started it all. She wrote in to 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. I've seen a lot of wasps around. I have them at home and saw a lot at Dix Park today. Is there any reason why they're so bad right now? It is a good question, and we got a pretty good answer, too, courtesy of another viewer email. Nicolas Galvez wrote in and said, I'm an entomologist from NC State. Many wasps are out right now due to the warm temperatures, and it's true. Galvez studies insects at NC State. He also works for the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences. So we emailed him back and we asked him to jump on a Zoom call with us, and he obliged. So Vicky, here is your answer, not from a journalist, not from me, from an expert, from a viewer, from an expert viewer.
There are a lot of wasps out looking for nesting sites where they can build their homes that they're going to live in throughout the year. Wasps are, they live together and they work together. So there are a lot of paper wasps and hornets and things out right now looking for ideal places to build homes for themselves and their future generations and children.
But look, Vicky wasn't the only one with a question about wasps. Far from it, actually. She kind of started a little bit of a trend. Timothy wrote in and said, my church has a lot of wasps on Sunday mornings. How do we get rid of them? So we asked Galvez about this, too, and he told us you should either use an insecticide, like you can get at the store, or call a professional. The thing not to do is try to trap them in a wasp nest or in a box or a bag or anything like that. He said that's a recipe for disaster. Leave that to the internet to show off those videos. Don't try it yourself. Another email, this one about bees. Look, all of these came in one night, if you can believe it. Ronald wrote, Dan, I'm looking forward to your article about wasps. Can you look at carpenter bees being out as well? So, Ronald, we got you, my friend. We asked Galvez about this, too, and he said pretty much the same thing. It's the warmer weather. These bees love old wood, hence the name carpenter bees, right? They are harmless unless you antagonize them in some way. Galvez told us that you can keep them away with scented sprays or by setting up a bee hotel. What is a bee hotel? It's this. These are a thing, and you can literally buy these at Walmart. Kind of cool. To round things out, why don't we give Galvez one final word? Here's his general wasp and bee advice from our expert viewer.
Without bees and wasps, we would not have any food to eat. A lot of wasps actually eat other insects that we might not want, such as mosquitoes. And so if you removed such voracious predators from the environment, I think everyone's life would be a lot worse. So just understand that they're trying to live just as much as we are, and to treat them with respect.
Thank you so much. Our viewers are fantastic. Did you know that they ate mosquitoes? Neither did I. Hey, a quick update on that one of those brush fires in Wake County that we told you about earlier. We just heard back from the Zebulon Fire Department about 15 minutes ago. They say that fire on Rosenberg Road involved in that abandoned home. It was a trash fire near the home that spread into the nearby woods. So we've been trying to figure out how these fires started. We're still waiting on the other one, but that's the information right now that we have out of Zebulon. Keep those emails coming. 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. Ask questions. Give us your critiques. If you're an expert, we'll put you on the air. Tell us your knowledge. Thanks for watching us here on WRAL tonight at 7 o'clock. Have a fantastic evening. We'll see you back here tomorrow answering more of your questions.